All right, it is Tuesday, July 20th. I'm Tom Novak. This is your Bring Me the News and Novak Weather Update brought to you by All Energy Solar. They are harnessing the power of the sun to create energy across the world, which is great. Awesome. Thank you, All Energy Solar, for sponsoring this update. Now, not as much solar radiation as we usually get to hit the surface of the Earth right now because of smoke. And what you're looking at right now, this is the water vapor imagery from the satellite loop. And this kind of tells you the story of what's going on, not only here in the upper Midwest in Minnesota and Wisconsin, but really across the nation. And it's playing a huge role. We have what's called a high pressure ridge now that's sitting right over Colorado and Kansas, and you can see the circulation around this high pressure ridge. And what's important to notice here is that we're getting a flow from the desert southwest and from the intermountain west on northeast into the upper Midwest. Again, that flow is key because there are a ton of wildfires out here in the west. Okay, and I'm going to show you that here in just a little bit. But that flow is not going to break down anytime soon. So the smoke, the haze that you see in our atmosphere is only going to continue. Now, this is kind of a cool map. This is what we call a vertically integrated smoke. It's basically smoke in the atmosphere. It's approximated, but I want you to take a look at where the wildfires are originating, at least most of them. There are quite a few up in Canada too, but this is the western sections of the United States. We're talking Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and there are a lot of fires going on out there. And look at how this smoke is continuing to move east and northeast and then surge back southeast into the upper Midwest. In fact, when you look at Minnesota, I know it's kind of hard to see, but here's Minnesota and Wisconsin. Look at how the smoke is also catching the wildfires up in Canada and then heading southeast. It's kind of the double whammy: smoke from the Pacific Northwest and then smoke from the southern prairies and the mountains of Canada are both combining to create some real hazy skies. In fact, dangerous skies across the upper Midwest where our air quality is unusually low for this time of the year. So it's something that we're going to have to deal with for several days the way it appears. All right, here's the visible satellite loop now. And you can see that there are clouds over about the northern half of Minnesota, extending east and southeast and northwestern Wisconsin, and more clouds to come. So that's good news. That's going to cool our temperatures, especially over northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, over the next 24 to 36 hours, and it could potentially produce some rain. You could see some showers and storms developing over southeastern Saskatchewan, and we'll watch those storms because they could ride a boundary that would eventually extend east and southeast into Minnesota. You can see the rains here from Grand Forks and Fargo radar, and here are the rains up in southern Manitoba. Yeah, it's a ways away, but these rains are going to be sliding southeast and riding along a boundary over central and northern Minnesota, and hopefully that's going to create some thunderstorm and shower activity as we go through the next 24 hours. Now, I'm talking about that boundary. You can see it clearly here when we look at the temperatures this afternoon across Minnesota and Wisconsin. Now, we've got temperatures in the low 60s along Lake Superior shore. And in fact, the 60s extend even back as far west as portions of northeastern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. That's a cool easterly flow that has developed in our atmosphere. Meanwhile, we've got temperatures near or above 90 over southwestern Minnesota and then extending west into the Dakotas. Yes, it's pretty clear that there's a boundary now right along about the I-94 corridor across Minnesota and Wisconsin. And that boundary could potentially ignite as we go through the night tonight. Now, as we put the temperatures in motion here, look at how that cool air flows back west, retrogrades back west into eastern Minnesota. In fact, portions of the Lakes country in northern Minnesota may dip into the 50s overnight tonight. So that's great news for them to cool off. And then the highs tomorrow are going to be highly dependent on cloud cover, but I'm shaving the temperatures here over eastern Minnesota. I'm going to shave them about 5 to 10 degrees from what was previously expected. I'm expecting temperatures up near or just into the 80s here in eastern Minnesota, including the Twin Cities metro, as that boundary again potentially ignites some showers and storms, and that would keep our atmosphere cool. Speaking of that boundary, here it is. These are the dew points now in our atmosphere as we go through the night tonight, and look at how that dry air continues to funnel back west into eastern Minnesota, and it's hitting this boundary, this instability boundary across central Minnesota, across the heart of Minnesota. This boundary extends northwest to southeast along that I-94 corridor. And right where you see the highest dew points, and you can see them here as we go through the day tomorrow, which is basically along I-94. That's where I'm expecting, if storms do develop, that's where they would develop, is along that instability boundary. And we can only cross our fingers because the storms will be scattered and not everybody's going to get the rain. So consider yourself lucky if you do get some. Here's the extended forecast now. And there it is. I'm shaving the temperature about 5 to 10 degrees from what was previously expected. I'll be surprised if we make it even into the mid 80s in the Twin Cities metro tomorrow. But then the heat comes back on. Look at this. Intense heat is back on for this weekend. I'm hoping for some scattered showers and storms. If we get some, they could be pretty strong. We'll have to see. And then looking into next week, the heat just appears to be relentless. I won't be surprised if some areas of Minnesota are talking about 100 degrees plus for the actual air temperature as we get into next week. All right, that's your forecast. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.